Rhino Tutorials. Today I'm going to show you how to create a shadow in a photo, a shadow that wouldn't have normally existed. So if you're creating a composite and you are trying to make it look realistic, a lot of times there is going to be a shadow. So when you're moving your subject over to this new background and creating that composite, you need to make it as realistic as possible. So a lot of times we'll use the dodge tool, or I'm sorry, the burn tool, and add some darkness around, their feet, or if they're sitting, maybe around their legs. But in this particular picture, Olivia as Moana, she needs to have a shadow. So you can even see the shadow that is cast from the rocks. So I'm gonna act as though my light source is coming from kind of the left side and create this shadow of the oar and her kind of off in this direction here. So to begin, what I need to do, so she wasn't originally holding the oar, so you can see she posed like that and then we added that in. And obviously the rest of this picture isn't completely edited, but I like to do this before I merge the layers, because then I don't have to go back and select her whole layer again, or select her from the background. Right now she's, completely selected because she's her own separate layer. So making that shadow is a lot easier. So I'm going to merge the oar and her together so that they are one layer together. And then I'm going to duplicate the layer. And I'm going to rename that shadow. And I'm going to rename this one Moana and oar. So with the shadow, you can see here she is. There are a few things that we want to do with that. So generally, I've seen people in the past use like the multiply layer. So if you do that, it will, let me get it off the transform. It will look like, like this, and then they'll remove the color. And to me, that's not as realistic. I prefer to fill the whole layer black and then lower the opacity. I'm going to move her behind her original layer. So in order to do that, actually I'll remove her right now, and I'm working on the shadow layer. If I zoom in a little, I'm going to select her, and because she's her own separate layer, it's really easy to select her. It won't allow me to select anything else. And it's going to grab everything. See, even if I tried to select everything out here, I can't. Okay, so she is, well, I'm missing a few things here. I've got her hair. All right, I'm missing some of her skirt. Looks like we've got her. So now that she is completely selected, I'm going to go to Edit, Fill, or you can just right click on it and fill. And I'm going to go to black. So now she is a little shadow here. And I want to deselect that layer. So right now, obviously that shadow is super dark. It's also not the right perspective, so we're going to kind of skew that in a minute. I'm going to change the opacity to, maybe about 40%. You don't want it to be too dark. Actually, we're going to go 35. Add that layer back on. And now what I want to do is bring up the transform tool. I have to make sure that her feet and everything, that the shadow is coming straight from her feet and from the oar. I'm also going to need to change the perspective a bit. Not that way. So a little bit like that works well. And then I'm going to need to skew it a bit as well. Kind of like that. I'm gonna move again, work on getting her right where she needs to be. And it's kind of playing around with it a bit until you get it, you know, exactly how you think. That's good, but that's really tall, so I'm going to make it a little bit shorter. And I think that looks pretty good, but I need to fix where she's located, or where the shadow is located. So it should be coming out from, you know, from her feet and from the oar. So you might have to resize it. You know, make it smaller, make it bigger. I'm actually going to make it a little bit smaller. So it's kind of like that. I'm going to rotate it a little. Okay, I think that's pretty good there. And then now what I want to do is a couple things. I'm going to create a layer mask on the shadow layer, and I'm going to brush it off a little bit, because as the shadow gets further away from the person, it might get just slightly lighter. It also, you know, all these rocks and stuff, it's not going to show up as visible on those. So what am I looking for? A brush, and I'm on the black brush, especially out here in the ocean, you know, you're not going to see it out there. And just very lightly, just kind of brushing it off up here. And then there's a little bit of her foot sticking out here that we're just going to pretend isn't there. So yeah, I mean, there's a few other, you know, changes. If you really wanted to get super in depth, you could kind of warp it around the rocks a little bit. It might, you know, change slightly around those, but other than that, I think that that's pretty sufficient. At least it makes it the subject blend, and makes her look like, you know, she was really in the setting. So if you have not checked out my tutorial on creating a reflection, it's kind of a similar concept, but make sure you check that one out with my girls as LOL dolls. And other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. Thanks for watching. video, make sure you stay connected with Urban Rhino on social media. And don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, comment below, and of course, subscribe to our channel.